Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. Let me show you what the car looks like now that everything is all painted and the clear coat has hardened. So taking a look on the front of it, things look great. You know, there are a couple areas that I want to wet sand and buff. If you look real close here, I think there's a little bit of indentation there. Hopefully I can get that out. It seems like it's above the clear, so we can work on that. Over on this side, things look good. I think I just whipped my hose right here, so I want to give that a little bit of attention. Wet sand and buff work. The roof looks perfect, but when I get over on this passenger side, that's where things look a little shaky. Now, think of the way this car was set in the garage. It was facing forward, so the passenger side was on this side, which is my blind side. There's not a lot of light there, and it shows because I have a lot of runs here. If you look right there, that's one. There's another. You got a third one right there. And we got a big one right all along here. There are things I can do. I can fix this. I don't have to repaint it, thankfully. And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. But it just tells me that I need to invest in some better lighting if I'm gonna continue to paint in the garage. But all in all, everything looks really good on there. I am very happy with it. Now, what's left to paint? I still have the doors. I still have this rear deck panel that goes across the top here. And then the edges of the T-tops. So like right along here, the part that's not glass, it's actually metal that has to be painted. So those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, those still have to get painted. But after that, oh, I just found my 6th one. The panel that goes along the top here, the like windshield closeout panel. So that's 6, but thankfully that one's in flat black. So once I paint those 6 panels, I can start reassembly. But let me show you what I have to do to fix the runs in the clear coat. So here's the secret to the razor blade trick. You sand the edges of the razor blade with 180 grit, just so that the edges are no longer sharp. Then you attack the run straight on or at edges until you get the area totally smooth. The goal is to remove all unevenness until you're left with just a flat surface. All right, so here's what we got so far. I've taken care of this run right here in the middle, and I'm nearly done with this one and that one. Let me show you the difference. I stopped here so I could show you. That's what I'm looking for. I wanted to get that smooth in the middle. So here, you see I still got this lip. I still got this little S that's coming down, and it looks like there's a little bulge right there. So I got to continue shaving it all the way down. On this, I have a straight line now, straight across. So I just want to go across it even more, just, you know, step by step, being nice and gingerly, and just take off a little bit more clear until all of it looks like that. I have a lot more to go, so I'm gonna do the rest off camera. Gotta head to California tomorrow. Let me show you what that was like. So I had to take a work trip out to LA, and while it means time away from the build, I do get to visit the team at GM1 Performance. Before I get there, there's this weird car on the road. What is that thing? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, GN1 is only 40 minutes away from LAX, and I was like a kid in a candy store. They have a lot of parts available right in store and ready to ship. There's also a couple of cars in the lot for sale signs. I picked up a 9-inch torque converter and a powder-coated valve cover for Astro Roof. Thanks to Rafi and Archie for your help and excellent customer service. I will be seeing you all again. So we got the car outside, still in the sun. We got the 2 doors over here just waiting for their turn. I've got the T-tops over here and of course that rear shelf. I did get everything down to 180 that will be exposed on the outside. There were a couple of uneven and rough spots once I started sanding that I didn't want to take a chance on. So I just got it down to bare metal. Over here it won't count so much because the trunk will be covering this up when it's closed. And if there's any reactions, I will take care of that, not to worry. But we've gotten that stripped down. We're ready for sealer, so let's seal it right now. All right, so it's the next day. I've got the parts inside the garage curing. It should be dry by now. Anyway, it's gonna rain today, so I'm gonna back the Grand National in. I'm gonna cover it with plastic and then lift it up in the air so I have the entire garage to work with. I'm gonna try to lay down base coat and clear coat today on the doors, the bumpers, and the T-top pieces. So let's get after it. I'm glad I moved everything inside. It is starting to rain right now, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. So we've gotten the car tarped off. We've gotten pretty much everything set up with plastic. I'm gonna clean everything one final time and we'll get right into it. Overall, base coat and clear coat laid down pretty well. There was some trash in the doors, but nothing wet sanding and buffing can't fix. Pretty happy with how everything turned out. At this point, I'm feeling really accomplished. 95% of the exterior is painted right up to this point. I still have side view mirrors, lower valances, T-top trim to paint, but the big pieces on the body, they're all done. And now I can get back to fixing all of the imperfections that you saw previously in the video by wet sanding and buffing the entire car. I'll set those panels outside that I just painted, and I'll show you what's next coming up now. All right, so right now we've gotten all of the parts that I painted yesterday outside sunbathing. It's getting the clear all hard and firmed up so I can start to wet sand and buff that. This car's been sitting for maybe about a week and a half now, and it sat out in the sun for a couple of days, so I'm pretty confident that this stuff is hard as a rock. Let me show you a couple of things that I want to pay special attention to as I wet sand and buff. There's going to be some clear runs in the paint. There's gonna be some sags as well. If you look, where are you at? Where are you at? Right there. You see that right there? That's a sag. If you look right here, I'm trying to show you all. It's gonna be really difficult. Right in there. Oh God, I got scratches in it already. Yeah, if you look right there, you'll see basically a circle. And what happened there, that's an area that Bondo is on, and then it started stippling all the way around the Bondo. So it created this effect where it looks like a low, but it really isn't. And I have a bunch of those on the hood and on the trunk lid. But in any case, I got maybe about 50 of them. And I really need to wet sand and buff so I can get everything level. And once I get everything level, I'll be able to get it out. Yeah, it just goes to show you, even though everything is shiny now, it does not mean that you're done. So I'm gonna spend a few hours. It's a beautiful day out here. I'm gonna spend some time in the garage, just with the doors open, just knocking out this stuff. I'm starting off with 1500 grit to start to take out the orange peel and the imperfections. Remember when I told you early on it was gonna look worse before it looks better? I really meant it. And here's what it takes to make a really good paint job. Okay, I wanted to cut you back on and show you these circles that I was talking about. You see there's one there and there's one right there. And if I can get it to level down, I can take care of 1, 2, and then that one over there, that's the third one. So I'm just gonna keep at it. I switched over to 2000 so I can protect as much as the clear as possible. But if it gets to be too much, I'll just switch over to 1500 and then knock this out real quick. Be real gingerly about it, but then switch over to 2000 and then 3000 and continue to knock these out. All right, so cutting you back on, if you take a look, we've gotten everything pretty much flattened out. If you look real close, especially along this center, you'll see that there are some glimmers. So there still are some low spots that I have not been able to get to yet. But I'm overall very happy that there's a lot of clear on this hood, so I can actually sand down with 1500 and 2000 to get to this point. But I've gotten everything off of the edge. I've gotten this big ridge that was here off. And you can't even make out the shapes anymore. It's just like individual speckles. So what I may do, because this took a really long time, I'm gonna do the other problem sections with maybe 1200 instead of 1500. just so I can cut it down really quickly and get through it. I'm gonna be taking my time, of course, but this, if I stay at this route, it's gonna take forever to get the entire car done. So let's keep on pushing. Take a look at the progress that I'm making on the passenger side front fender. Huge run. Here's when I'm halfway through it, and here's at the end. You can barely make it out, and then I'll be done with it soon. All right, so a quick trip to Harbor Freight, and I got some sanding discs. They're filmed for 12 and 1500 grit, and then foam for 2000 and 4000. Here's what the film grits look like. Here's what the film sanding discs look like. I've never used them before, but I've heard good things about them, so I'm gonna give them a shot. And I also got this multi-purpose sprayer. I got 2 of them. One will be for my alcohol and water mixture, and then I'll have another one for soapy water. That'll help me apply liquid on the car real easily, just pump up and spray. And of course I got this big daddy right here. This is a long throw orbiter polisher. So I'm gonna use this instead of wet sanding by hand, because it took me an entire, I'd say maybe 6-7 hours just to get that area of the car done. And if I got to do that in 1200 and then I got to go back and do it with all those other grits, it's going to take a lot longer, and especially when I still got this and other parts of the car to do. I just invested in this, and this is going to make my life a lot easier. It'll save me, and I can use the hand sanding for complex areas like corners and edges where I don't want to burn through the entire paint. I just got to be real careful not to do that. So I'll only use this on flat panels, basically. So let me fire this up and we'll get to going. All right, so I've officially gone over the entire car with 1200 grit, and now I've gotten everything pretty smooth. Now, if you look real close, there are some shiny bits left over, and that's totally fine. I expect the 1500, the 2000, and the 3000 and the 4000 to come in and level all of that out. So I just really want to leave a little bit of material on there for those future grits to kind of take off. All right, now the entire car is scuffed up with 2000. Let me just wipe off everything, get all the haze off, and then we'll go to 4000. Before we head back to the time lapse, I just want to show you the effect that 4000 grit has on there. And this is the line where 4000 stops and 2000 is. So you can see there's a difference. When you're looking at the light, look at the light. That's the difference between 2000 and 4000. So you're getting more and more of the shine. It's definitely smooth to the touch. I'll do the entire car, the front end in 4000, do the entire rear end up to 4000, do this stuff in 4000, and then I'll switch tools, go over to my buffer, and get the shine fully back. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we are finally at the point where we're ready to start compounding and polishing the car. I've wet sanded everything with 4000 up to this point, and it's looking great. Check it out. So you'll see like some slight haziness to it right here. Well, all over, a matter of fact. And that's all gonna come out with the Ultra Cut compound. Let me show you the lineup. We have the 105, which is Meguiar's cut compound, 205, which is the finishing polish, and then the Show Car glaze, which is number 7. I'm using that with the Harbor Freight variable polisher sander and a 7-inch wool pad. And I'm just gonna do that all over the car. The compound is gonna bring the shine back right away. So let's get to it. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see what this looks like all done. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Look at you. Baby, I missed you. Don't tell my wife. I missed you. And that looks great. Now you can start to see some micro scratches if you look real close. There's some micro scratches in there. But that's what step 2 and step 3 are for. But just seeing this come back to life in comparison to the cloudiness that's over there, it's awesome. So let's keep on working it. I'll finish up this little piece here and we can move on to the rest of the day. All right, so everything is now buffed and polished. Well, the shell of the car anyway. I still got to do the doors and the T-top, but I'm kind of tired of it right now, so I'm going to put these to the side. And before I actually start to put these on the car, I want to get the interior back together. So what I'm going to start out with is, I've got my kill mat right here. This is sound dampening mat. You basically peel the backing off of this and you stick it on the floor, and it's supposed to deaden all of the creaks and rattles and sounds that you would expect from something that's, gosh, over 35 years old. So what I'll do is I'll get the seats out, I'll get everything cleaned up, wipe everything down with alcohol and water, get a really good mating surface out of the floors, and then I can start to apply the sound deadening mat. Now, you got to cut around a lot of stuff. You got bolt holes coming up for the seats, you got brackets, things like that nature. So you're going to want to piece it out, put holes in it, and make sure that the installation's really quality-like. So I'll be doing all that with you, and we can all see how it goes back together. All right, so 4 bolts, and now we can get our driver's seat out. All right, so now I got the seat out of the way. I've wiped down every surface of the floor, so we're in really good shape now. Now I can start to lay down my kill mat. And it's real easy to do. Once you peel back the sheet and you start to lay it down, you got to use a tool to get down into these crevices. And once you get down into them, you know, you start to create that pocket. You're removing all the air bubbles and everything like that, and you're making sure that it's a quality install. All right, so I worked through the night last night and floors are in. So everything is looking great there. I cut off all of the edges for the brackets, so everything looks nice and clean. I've cut out my holes for my seat belts. They have these holes that are in the rear floor pan from factory, and I still need to get a plate for this side. So as soon as I get the plate, I can, you know, adhere that one down. But I got everything all the way up to the body seam, up under the pedals, all the way back, you know, past the point. So we have total sound deadening in the entire car. I'm gonna put some additional sound deadening in the doors. And this kit is great. So in case you were looking for something, it's 36 square feet. I still have 4 sheets left over and very little waste. I didn't waste much of anything at all. The small pieces I repurposed for this center bracket here, you know, in some of the corners over there, and, you know, some of the small areas here. So it's pretty good. I like it. But now this shifter is looking a little odd to me. It's the only piece of rust left in this car. So I'm gonna take it off. There's just 4 10mm bolts. I'm gonna unclip the bracket. Maybe I'll blast it and then paint it flat black and put it back in here. I want that looking good too. I also took some soapy water, cleaned off the dash. It looks good. There are a couple of spots on it still that I want to find something that can take them off, but it's looking good. I like it. Starting to come together, folks. Now, after I take care of that shifter, I'm gonna go back into the trunk, grab the carpet, lay the carpet out. Seat belts. So let me tell you a little bit about the seat belt plans for this car. I found somebody parting out their Monte Carlo. It's an 85 Monte Carlo LS, I believe. I'm repurposing the seat belts from that set. I'm going to use it here along with some of the A-pillar, B-pillar, computer cover, all of those plastics. What I learned from that is the sill panel, the interior panel that goes right here, it is different on the Monte Carlos because the window shape is different on the Recals versus the Monte Carlo. So I can't use that. So basically, I got a bunch of Monte Carlo interior parts for sale. Let me know in the comments or email me, and you know, we can strike a deal. And if you're willing to pay for shipping, I'm be happy to ship it out to you. I still have the carpet because the carpet came with the car. I'm gonna unbolt these seat belts, put in the fresh seat belts that look better. I'll shine them up, and you know, piece by piece, we're gonna get there. Right now it's Saturday. I got the rest of today and tomorrow to work on it. And my goal is by the end of this video to at least have all of the seats in the car. And now with everything back together, here's what we're looking like. Feeling good, looking great. Now we are ready for seats. So let me show you what we have in the way of seats. Finally got it back from the upholsterer. I say finally, they took 1 day to get it back. So they're awesome. And I plan on using them again whenever I need something. All right, let's get these out of here. Yep. That. Oh no. Okay. I need 2 hands. Here we are. So we got the rear seats in really, really good condition. Driver's seat, finally done, bolster replaced. And then my passenger seat. So it looks good with the exception of the embroidered Turbo 6 logo. I got a plan for that, but I'm just gonna celebrate the fact that we now have a set of seats that are good enough to go into the car. I got a plan for that. Don't worry about it. It's calling out to me. So with everything looking good right now, we'll get carpet and we'll get seats in right now. All right, so I got the carpet out of the box, and in here, the only thing I did was cut a center slit to fit the shifter, because some of these cars, they do come with column shifters, so I had to do that. But I really love this ACC carpet. They've got everything cut out for the seatbelt holes, for the seats, trim cut, jute padding underneath. And I originally was not in favor of this lighter carpet in here, but it looks really good. And I think it's gonna look even better once the seats are in. So I haven't made any real cuts to this. Remember, the console is gonna go all up in here, so we're gonna have to trim a lot more back, but it's looking good so far. I'm just making small adjustments, making sure that, everything is falling the way it's supposed to fall, because I don't want to cut too much and then I'm left with a gaping hole somewhere. So let me continue to work this, and we'll make a final cut along there to remove just enough, and we can start to get seats in here. All right, check it out. We have carpet and seats in. Everything looked great. It bolted up great. And I see why people like these seats. They are so comfy. They've got so much adjustment to them. We got bolster adjustments up top and down low. Of course, the recline, and of course the tilt for accessing the back seat. I could fall asleep in these seats all day. So what's next? I gotta look for those sail panels. Once I do, I gotta paint everything to get that fresh cream look to the plastics. I can start on TTop seals, glass, get the doors on and door panels, and we'll be nearly done. So thanks for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. I'll talk to you in the next one.